Alright, so today what I will discuss no is all about the FS analysis, no, the interpretation and the analysis of the FS. No, so we will discuss later, no, about vertical analysis, or also known as the common size, no, explain and apply the trend analysis, no, or sort analysis, no, and also about the ratio analysis, which is the liquidity, solvency, profitability, and also last part is all about the limitations of the FS. No, I will not discuss some of the earning power. No, so ito. So I will not discuss the earning power and the irregular items. No, we'll discuss automatically, no, or directly with the comparative analysis. No, vertical and also trend analysis. Okay. And also, ratio analysis, liquidity, solvency, profitability, and some of our limitations. Sige. I will skip na, no? So we'll go now with study objective number 2. Okay. So, very important class that in terms of your FS is what you call a comparative analysis. Okay. So, ano bang ibig sabihin ng comparative analysis, no? Ibig sabihin, you will compare your numbers, no, with, of course, number one, intra-company comparison within your company. Okay? Ibig sabihin, mamaya we will discuss about trend analysis, no, or what you call increase or decrease of one particular account, no. Okay. Also, we will discuss about the industry averages, which is the comparison with the industry average or the standards, no. And the last one is all about the intercompany basis comparison with the other companies, no. Meaning to say, it is about your competitor. Okay? Alright. So, sige. We go first with this, no, comparative analysis. That there are three basic tools are used in financial statement analysis, no, to highlight the significance of your financial data. Okay, number one, or also known as the trend analysis, no? Ibig sabihin, pahalang, no? Okay, so ganun, okay? So vertical, horizontal analysis, no? Horizontal analysis, and we have vertical analysis. So horizontal, and we have vertical analysis, and also we have our ratio analysis. Okay, so okay, we go one by one. No? Again, number one, okay, number one is all about uh, trend analysis, no? So ano bang ibig sabihin nito, no? All right. So again, this is horizontal analysis, no? So also trend analysis is a technique for evaluating a series of FS data over a period of time. If you notice, the purpose of this is to analyze whether there would be an increase or decrease, no, has taken place. So yun naman yung pinaka goal, no, ng ating trend analysis, no. Kaya nga trending, ano ba yung trend, no? So increase or decrease of one particular account, no. So the increase or decrease can be expressed as either an amount. Please take note, ha. Very important here is to have an amount, no, or a percentage or a based year. Okay. So ibig sabihin, class, no, paano mo siya i-compute, no? To illustrate this analysis, no, the most recent net sales figures of Kellogg Company are shown below. So what if you have 2023, 2022, 2021, 2020, and 2019? If 2019 would be your base year, there would be percentage increase or decrease from this base period. It can be computed are as follows. Ano ba yung computation natin? Ano ba yung ating formula? The current year, okay, minus your base year divided by your base year, no? That would be the change since the base period. For example, diba, we want to know the 2023 and 2019. From 2019 to 2023. Okay, ibig sabihin, 2023 is our current year, 6830.1 minus 6295.4 divided by 6295.4, and that would be your increase from 2019 to 2023. Magkano yan? With the 8.5% increase. Okay, next one. Also, how about ito class yung another, no, another formula. Okay? All right. So this is the shortcut, no? Okay? So in terms of our net sales. So paano yung shortcut natin? All right. So shortcut here is for example, uh, just divide, no, the current year and the base year. For example, 6830.1, just divide it by the 6295.4. So ibig sabihin, you have 108.5%. If you divide, then minus 100, so you have 8.5%. Ganon din naman in 2022, no? 66676.6 divided by 6295.4, you have 106.1. Alright, you have also your 7003.7, just divide it by 6295.4, you have 111.3. So, ganun lang, no? Ang formula, no? So, gusto mong magkaroon ng shortcut, no? So, ganun lang ha, to illustrate, no, for this one. Okay? So, just divide the current year by the base year. For example, no, in the condensed balance sheet, no, so, for example, in the current assets, ano nga yung formula natin? Current year minus our base year. So, for example, in your current assets, so you have the 1467.7 minus 1528.6. So, you have the 60.9. Okay? So, again, also in your plant assets, so you have 2773.3. Then, you will minus the 2932.9. So, ibig sabihin, you have the 159.6. So, ibig sabihin, you have a 5.4% increase. Alright, so, ganun lang, no? So, ang ating, alright. Also, in terms of the other assets, so you have also here, 636.6 minus 588.5. So, you have a 48.1, no? So, ibig sabihin, you have an increase of the 8.2. Alright, so assets din ganun din, no? The 4877.6 minus the 5050. So you have your negative 172.4. So you have your negative 3.4, no, percent. Ganun din naman in terms of your liabilities and equity. Ganun lang ha. Yung 2023 would be your current year, 2022 would be your base year, just minus the 2, just divide it by 2022. Okay? So, you have 541.7, no? Ganoon din naman in the long-term liabilities, 222.8 minus 1568.6. So, you have 654.2 divided by 1568.6. So, you have your 41.7% increase, no? If it is negative, may parenthesis negative yan, no? Okay, ganoon din sa commas na ganoon din, ha? So, ibig sabihin, your 2023 would be your your current, and 2022 would be your base, just minus the 2, just divide it by your base, no? So, ano ibig sabihin nito, class, no? Ibig sabihin, you need to check or you need to know the increase or decrease of one particular account, no? Your current assets, your plant assets, your other assets. Alright. Ganon din naman, no, in terms of our income statement. Okay? So, ganon din. Net sales, 6830.1 minus 6676.6. So, you have 153.5. Okay? Just divided by 6676.6. So, you have the 2.3%. No? Same also with our cost of goods sold. No? The 3270.1 minus 3122.9. So, you have 147.2. Just divide it by the 3122.9. And we have the 4.7. Ganun lang ha. Ganun din naman in terms of the net income. No? So, bottom line, if you have the 2023, 546 minus 531, so you have 15. 15 divided by 531, and you have your 2.8% increase. Okay? So, that's how you will analyze, no, to the trend analysis, no? Okay? So, yan. Pag gano'n na, pahalang tayo. Okay. Kaya lang, class, there would be complications, no? For example, number one, daw, the measurement changes from period to period in the percentages is relatively straightforward and quite useful, no? However, complications can arise, no, in performing the computations. Ano yan? Number one, if an item has no value in the base year or preceding year, there's no percentage can be computed. Mamaya, we'll also give now. Also, if there would be negative amount appears in the base or preceding period and the positive amount naman exists in the following year or vice versa, there's no percentage can be computed. No? Go back again, di ba? Tinan nyo. No? So, you have negative here. Di ba? May negative dyan. Tapos, like for the cumulative effect, no? Alright? So, effect of the changes, no? So, 18.0. So, negative siya. Tapos, wala. There's no percentage. Ganun din naman in the other income or expense, no? Positive, negative, okay, but there's no percentage. So that would be the complications lang naman, no? So pero it is for me it's an immaterial, no? On how you will be able to analyze, okay? All right. So we go now to the next, no? Vertical analysis. So ano naman class ang ibig sabihin ng vertical analysis or also known as your common size analysis, no? A technique for evaluating the FS data that expresses each item in the FS as a percentage of a based amount. In this vertical analysis, there are two base, no? If you want to analyze the balance sheet, no, it is known as your total assets. Sorry, you will use assets, no? Total assets. If gusto mo naman in terms of the income statement, what you will use is the net sales. Okay? Assets total and your net sales. Again, sales minus sales discount and sales and allowances. Okay. So for example, no, in this category, no, for the FS, all right. So sample natin again is the Kellogg Company. So again, your base is assets total, no? Since you want to analyze the statement of financial position or your the balance sheet. For example, in 2023, 1467.7 divided by 4877, so you have 30.1. The planned assets, you have 2773.3 divided by 4877.6, so you have 56.9. 636.6 divided by 4877.6. So you have your 13.0. Ganon din naman in 2022. The 5050 assets would be your base amount. No? Same also with your liab and stockholders equity. 1657.3 divided by 4877.6. Ganon din naman in the 222.8 just divided by 48. So ganon lang, no? Okay. Your denominator is your total assets. Okay. So, paano to class, no, in terms of uh, interpreting, no, or analysis of it. No? For example, the 30.1, meaning to say, is composed of your current assets. Out of 100% of your assets, 30.1 would be your current assets. So, ganun lang, ha. Also out of 100%, 56.9% is your plant assets. So, ganun lang class, no? Alright, yung ating, uh, interpretations, no? So, ibig sabihin, majority of your assets is your plant assets with 56.9%. Okay, we go to the bottom line, no? In terms naman of your liabilities, ibig sabihin, almost 80%, no, uh, your assets are being financed by liabilities, no. Napakalaki nito, ha. Ibig sabihin the company is risky, no, since you have an 80%. Okay, so you have 80% and 20% in terms of the equity. Okay, 74.6 naman and 25.4, ganun din. Okay, so ibig sabihin class, the company are being financed by creditors, no? Oh, they are risky. Okay, so ganun na nga on how you will be able to interpret the data. Okay. How about naman in terms of your income statement? Okay? So in terms of the income statement, ganun din. So net sales naman would be our net sales uh, would be the base amount, no? So 100% is the net sales. Cost of goods sold 3270.1 just divided by the 6830.1, so you have 47.9. 2366.8 divided by 6830.1, you have 34.6. Ganun lang ha. Or interest expense of 18.3 divided by 6830.1, so you have 1.6%. 564 divided by 6830.1, you have an 8.3. Net income, ganun din, 546 divided by 6830.1, so you have an 8.0%. Ganun din naman, in the year 2022, net sales would be our base amount. No? Okay. So, ibig sabihin, cost of goods sold is 47.9% of your net sales. Also, your income, no? Or net income is 8.0%. Ayan. So, ganoon ng class ang pag-interpret ng ating vertical analysis. Okay. That's why class, no? As part also of the vertical, it is also known as common size, no? Alright, so vertical analysis also enables the comparison of the companies of the different sizes. Okay, and the benefit of vertical analysis is evident from the alternative name, common size analysis. So, what if you have comparative analysis for your competitor? Sabi ko nga kanina, very important is you should also include amount and also percentage. Hindi lang percentage. Titinan nyo to class, no? In the Kellogg, if you notice, the percentage is 8.0%. Also, in General Mills, you have 7.9%. Pero class, please take note, in terms of the amount, malaki ang difference, no? Kaya mas maganda, not only the percentage, no? But also, you need to include also the amount. But at least, mas maganda yung ating interpretation. Okay? Para maganda yung ating interpretation. Okay. Alright. So, yan. So, ito yung mga analysis na. Okay. So, next item is all about our ratios, no? So, you have your liquidity, you have your solvency, and also you have your profitability. So, it is more on the ratio analysis, no? So, ano naman ang ibig sabihin ng ratio analysis, no? So, as a tool of analysis, ratios can be provide clues, no, about underlying assumptions or conditions that may be apparent, no, from the inspection of the individual items. We go back again, no, to our comparison, no, in terms of intra-company. Okay, we have intercompany, and the last one is about industry average. Alright, ano naman to class, no? So, in terms of the ratio analysis, there are three kinds, no? So, you have your liquidity, you have your solvency, and you have your profitability. So, ano bang ibig sabihin ng liquidity, no? So, it means that ability by the company to pay for the currently maturing obligations. Ibig sabihin, how you will be able to pay for your current obligations. So, kaya nga liquidity is liquid, no? So, you're liquid enough. You have enough cash to pay for our current liability. We have also here what you call solvency naman, no? Ano bang ibig sabihin ng solvency? Kabaliktaran yan ng ating liquidity. It is more on the going concern. Ibig sabihin, it measures the ability by the company to survive in the long period of time. And that would be solvency. Okay. And the last one is all about profitability. So, ano naman yung ating profitability? It measures the income or the operating success of an enterprise. Ibig sabihin, profit, profitability, performance of the business. We go one by one. No? So, first thing is all about our liquidity. So, ano ba class yung liquidity? It measures the short-term obligations. No? Sorry, payment of the short-term obligations, particularly if you have enough cash, no, to meet our unexpected needs for cash. No? So the short-term creditors such as bankers, suppliers are particularly interested in assessing our liquidity. So ano yung mga sample ng ating mga formulas to compute for the liquidity? It includes pala activity ratios, no, like turnover, collection, etc., etc. So ano yung mga usual ano? So you have your current ratio, okay? So you have your current ratio, you have your asset test ratio, You have your current debt to the current cash debt coverage ratio, receivable turnover ratio, you have your average collection period, inventory turnover ratio, and the average days in inventory. So, ito yung mga sample, no? We will do one by one, ha? Okay? So, what is current ratio, no? It expresses the relationship of the current assets to your current liabilities and is computed by the following data. So, you have your current assets divided by your current liabilities. Ibig sabihin, uh, you should have enough current assets, no, in order for us to pay for our current liabilities. So that's basically your current ratio. However, the current ratio is widely used now for evaluating the company's liquidity and short-term debt paying ability. And the current ratio does not take into account the composition of your current assets. Yes, you have your current ratio. Kaya lang, what if you have enough inventory? What if you have slow-moving inventory? What if you have enough supplies or prepaid? And this is the weakness addressed by the current ratio. That's why very important is what you called acid test ratio. So what is the acid test ratio, no? Or quick asset ratio? Ibig sabihin, it measures the company's immediate short-term liquidity. So ibig sabihin, class, you will only consider cash, short-term investment, and your net receivables, no? So hindi kasama, class, yung ating inventory, yung ating prepaid supplies, yung ating mga prepaid assets and the supplies. All right, so only your cash, your current assets, your short-term investment and your net receivables divided by your current liabilities. Ano yung reason kung bakit, no? Asset test is an important complement to the current ratio. Okay? Again, it does not include inventory or prepaid. Lalo na yung inventory. Bakit? Because inventory may not be readily saleable. Pagkatamad-tamad ang ating mga businessman, hindi pwedeng maibenta kaagad yung ating inventory. And also the prepaid expenses and supplies may not be transferable to others. Hindi mo pwedeng, if you pay in advance, hindi pwedeng ibabalik mo, ha? Okay. Supplies naman, hindi pwedeng i-refund mo. Okay? And that would be your asset test ratio. You have also your current cash debt coverage ratio. Okay, disadvantage of the current and asset test ratio is that they use year-end balances of the current assets and your liabilities, no? And these year-end balances may not be representative of the company's position during the current year. That's why the current cash debt coverage ratio partially corrects for the problem. Now, that's why the formula here is the current cash debt coverage ratio is the net cash provided by operating activities divided by the average operating activities. Okay? And that would be the formula. So because it uses the net cash provided by the operating activities rather than the balance at one point in time, it may provide a better representation of the liquidity. Kasi nga, more on the net cash provided by our operating activities. No? So, yan ang ibig sabihin ng current cash debt coverage ratio. Alright. Next one naman is under your activity ratio. No? Activity ratio uh, on the part of your liquidity. No? Number one is what you call your receivable turnover ratio. So, ano bang ibig sabihin ng receivable turnover? It measures the liquidity of the receivables is the receivable turnover ratio, which measures the number of times on the average receivables are collected during the period. Yes, okay? So, how do we compute for receivable turnover ratio? So, net credit sales divided by your average net credit sales. Siyempre, mas maganda, mataas yung ating receivable turnover para at least we can be able to collect now from our customers. Kaya na class, it is to be related with our number of days or average collection days, which is the popular variant, no? Receivable turnover is to average collection period, no? So sa Tagalog, ilang taon, okay? or ilang taon ka makakapag-kolekta, or sorry, na taon, ilang buwan, no? Or ilang araw. So the formula here is the average collection period is the number of days divided by receivable turnover, no? So analysts frequently used uh, uh, the period, no, to assess the effectiveness of the company's credit and collection policies. Please take note, as a general rule, is that the collection period should not greatly exceed the credit term period. Okay? Ayan. So, ibig sabihin, nakadepende yan sa ating credit term period. Okay. Next one is all about your inventory receivable. Sorry, inventory turnover ratio. So, what is the inventory turnover ratio? No, it measures the number of times on the average is the inventory is sold, no, to our to convert it to sales, no. So the purpose of this is to measure the liquidity of the inventory, no. Ibig sabihin, uh, yung pag-convert natin sa ating inventory to sales. So yun naman yung goal natin, no. So ma-convert yan sa ating sales. Alright, so unless the factors, no, are significant, average inventory can be computed from the beginning and ending balances. Alright. So ano yung formula, class? In the inventory turnover, cost of goods sold divided by your average inventory. So yan, class, ha? Yan yung ating formula. Okay. So in terms of the inventory turnover ratio, no, generally the faster the inventory turnover, the less cash is tied up in the inventory and the less chance of inventory becoming obsolete. Okay? Kung mabilis, no? Alright? Of course, the downside of it, no, is that company can run out of inventory when it's needed. So, ibig sabihin, that's why very important is what you call EOQ, no? You will just have an order when you have a customer. Okay? And then, eventually, ibenta mo kaagad, di ba? Yan. Okay? Alright. So, in terms naman of the, if ever that you have an inventory turnover, meron naman tayong tinatawag na average days in inventory. So, what do you mean of average days in inventory? No? So, a variant of the inventory turnover is the average of days it takes, no, to sell your inventory. Alright? So, average days in inventory is equals to number of days. Uh, yan. So, number of days divided by your inventory turnover. Alright, so ganun lang, ha. So, inventory, again, may vary uh, among the industries, no? Or within the company. There may be significant, no, differences in the inventory, no? Or in the turnover. So, kasi nakadepende kasi yan. Okay? So, nakadepende yan. Anyway. Next one is all about solvency. Ano bang ibig sabihin ng solvency? Kanina, liquidity is more on your short term. Okay? Ito naman is more on solvency. So, what is your solvency? It measures the ability by the company to survive in a long period of time. Okay? So, ability by the company to survive in a long period of time. Okay? Uh, Long-term creditors and also the stockholders are interested, no, in a company's long run solvency, particularly is the ability to pay interest at becomes or it comes due, no, or repay our debt, no, in terms of our maturity. Okay? So, ano yung mga sample na solvency formulas, no? So, number one, you have your debt to asset ratio times interest earned, cash to debt coverage ratio, and we will end with the free cash flow, no? So, ratio information about the company's solvency and the ability to pay additional dividends or invest in a new project. Okay. So we go with number one, no? Debt to asset ratio. So debt to asset ratio, the formula here is total assets divided by debt muna divided by your assets. So same as kanina, no? Yung ating vertical analysis because your denominator is your assets total. Okay? So again, that would be your formula. Okay? So debt to asset ratio indicates about the degree of leveraging, no? Pag leveraging naman kasi class is more on risk, 'di ba? It provides some indication of the company's ability to withstand losses without impairing the interest of our creditors. Okay? So the higher the percentage of the debt, of course, you are risky. No? The greater the risk that the company may be unable to pay for the currently maturing obligations. Okay? Lower the ratio naman, mas okay, the more equity buffer is available to your customers. If the customers hurt, if the company becomes insolvent, particularly, no? So, ibig sabihin, yun nga, you have your buffer, okay? If lower ang ating uh, debt to asset ratio. You have also here, tinatawag natin times interest earned or also known as interest coverage, no? It indicates the company's ability to meet the interest payment as they become due. So, ano yung formula natin? Income before interest and income taxes divided by your interest expense. Okay? And this ratio uses income before interest and expense and income taxes because its amount represents what is available to cover interest. In layman's term class, in times interest earned, paano ka makakapagbayad ng interest? Ganun lang naman yan. Okay? Alright. We have also here your cash debt coverage ratio. So this ratio of the net cash provided by operating activities to your average total liabilities called cash to debt coverage ratio. It is the basis or cash basis measure of solvency. Ano yung formula cash? That cash debt coverage ratio, net cash provided by the operating activities now in your cash flow divided by your average total liabilities. Now, and this ratio includes company's ability to repay no, its liabilities from the cash generated from the operating activities without having to liquidate the assets used in terms of the operations. Yan. You have also your free cash flow. Ano bang ibig sabihin ng free cash flow? One indication of a company's solvency as well as ability to pay dividends or expand it now is the amount of excess cash it generated after investing in or maintaining its current productive capacity and paying dividends. Okay? And the measures is referred to as free cash flow. So ano ba class ang formula ng free cash flow? Net cash provided by operating activities minus your capital expenditure, your capex, okay? And minus our dividends paid. So, na class ha? Yung net cash provided pa nga, yun yung mga EBITDA natin, okay? Or EBITDA. Okay. So, that ends our solvency, no? Next one naman is all about profitability. So, ano ba class ang ibig sabihin ng profitability? No? It measures the income or the success of the business. Kaya nga performance. No? So, a company income or the lack of it no, affects the ability to obtain debt and equity financing. No? Or liquidity position or ability to grow. Diba? So, as a consequence, creditors and investors alike are interested in evaluating your profitability. No? So profitability is frequently used as ultimate test of management activities or effectiveness. Okay. So in terms of profitability, ano yung mga kasama natin? So cash return to sales ratio, EPS, price earnings, payout, pero madami pa. No? So ito yung mga sample natin. Relationship among profitability measures. So, yung return to common stockholders' equity, yan daw ay kaparehas lang ng return on assets and leverage, debt to asset. Yun naman, return on assets, kaparehas lang daw siya ng profit margin ratio and asset turnover ratio. Yung profit margin naman can be computed as gross profit divided, and you have your OPEX. Okay, so we go one by one. Number one is about return on common stockholders' equity, or ROE. No, the widely used of profitability is the common stock. It is now called ordinary shares, or the ROE. The ratio shows how many peso or dollars of net income are earned for each peso or dollar invested by the owners. So, ano yung formula natin? Income available to common or ordinary shares divided by average common stockholders' equity. Okay? So, the income available to common stockholders is net income minus any preferred stock dividends. Sir, bakit po we will minus the preferred stock dividends? Kasi nga, ang may-ari niyan ay ordinary shareholder. Okay? You have also your return on assets naman. The return on common stockholders equity ratio is affected by two factors daw: the return on assets and the leverage. Okay? So ROA, so on assets. Return on assets ratio measures the overall possibilities or profitability, sorry, of your assets, no, in terms of your rate earned on each dollar or peso in terms of our invested assets. So, ano yung formula, class? ROA can be computed as net income divided by your average total assets. Okay? You have also here, no, so leveraging pa yan, same na same kanina, or trading on the equity, no. So, at again, it means that the company has borrowed money by issuing bonds or notes at a lower rate of interest, okay, or by using the borrowed money. Leverages is simply trying to use money supplied by an owner's increase or return to the owners. Okay? You have also here your profit margin, same as discussion natin in our vertical analysis na, okay, profit margin, net income divided by your net sales. Okay? The ROS, alright, so it's also known as, so the formula here is net income divided by your net sales. Now, profit margin ratio or rate of return on sales is a measure of the percentage of each peso or dollar or sales that results in an income. Please take note of the last bullet, no? So, depende pala sa company. High volume enterprises such as grocery stores, stores generally experience low profit margin. Yes. Okay? Kasi ang dami, no? Whereas the such as yan nga, because of the madami. Whereas the low volume enterprise like the jewelry naman have high profit margin. Okay. So asset turnover ratio, all right, other factors that affects the return on assets is the asset turnover, no? This ratio means how efficiently or effective the company uses the assets to generate sales, no? So ano yung formula? Asset turnover ratio is net sales divided by your average total assets, no? And the ratio here also vary, no, among the companies, okay? You have also your gross profit rate, no, same as kanina, no? Gross profit divided by your net sales, okay? So, two factors strongly influence the profit margin is one of the gross profit rate, no? Magkaiba yung class, because your gross profit is sales minus cost of sales. Net income naman nasa baba na siya, okay? This rate indicates that the company's ability to maintain adequate selling price above its cost, no? So ano yung formula natin? Gross profit rate divided is equals to your gross profit divided by our net sales, no? As the industry becomes more competitive, this rate will decline. Siyempre, class, mababa yan kasi tumataas yung ating cost, especially our cost of sales, no? And the gross profit rate should be closely monitored over time. Okay. So, you have also here your OPEX to sales ratio. Ibig sabihin, you need to check also the percentages of your OPEX to sales, no? Tayo ba ay malaki ba ang ating OPEX, no? Managers can influence a company's profitability, okay, by maintaining adequate prices, okay, cutting expenses or both. Ibig sabihin, depende yan sa ating OPEX, okay? And this ratio means that the cost measures the costs incurred for each peso or dollar of sales. No? Effective ba tayo by generating our net income? Okay? So that would be your OPEX to sales. So operating expenses to sales ratio, the formula here is OPEX divided by our net sales. Okay. You have also your cash return on sales ratio. Same yung kanina. No? Profit margin discussed earlier, an accrual basis. Okay? So, we will use in net income or numerator. The assets basis counterpart, no, to the ratio of cash return on your sales ratio. No? So, ano yung pagkakaiba ng dalawa? No? The difference between these two ratios should be explainable as differences between accrual accounting and cash basis. So, cash return, net cash provided by operating divided by our net sales. Okay? You have also here the EPS. Again, sino bang may-ari ng EPS, 'di ba? The common or the ordinary shareholders. Sila lang yung may apat na rights, 'di ba? Right to vote, right to be right to vote, right to be elected as BOD. Number three is uh, right to purchase additional shares, the preemptive right. And the last one is right to receive dividends. Yan yung EPS. Kaya nga ang EPS ay para sa ordinary shareholder. No? Usually, think in terms of a number of shares they own or plan to own. No? Expressing net income earned on the per share basis provides just useful perspective for determining our policy. Okay? So EPS can be measured of the net income earned of each common stock. So income available to shareholders divided by your average number of common shareholders. So sa FAR na yan, no? Okay? Sa FAR. You have also your EPS. Again, EPS. Notice that the term net income per share or earnings per share, it used to refer to the amount of that income applicable to each of the common stocks. No? Therefore, there are preferred individuals declared in the period. They must be deducted from the net income not to arrive from the income available to the ordinary shareholders. Right? So you have also here the income, the intercompany and the industry now comparisons. They're normally meaningful for the EPS. Alright, yeah. So, the variations in the number of shares outstanding among the companies. No? You have also your price earnings ratio. Ano naman ibig sabihin ng price earnings? Market price, the stock price divided by EPS. Alright? So, the PE ratio is an oft-quoted statistics that measure the ratio of the market price over our EPS. No? So, the PE ratio is a reflection of investors' assessment of the company's future earnings. Okay? You have also your payout ratio. It measures your dividends payout. No? It measures the percentage of earnings distributed in the form of cash dividends. So, ano yung formula class? Payout divided by cash dividends divided by your net income. Okay? So, with this, companies of high growth rate are characterized by low payout ratio. No? They reinvest most of the net income in the business. Management also has some control over the amount of dividends. No? And the company is reluctant to reduce your dividends below the amount paid, no, in the previous year. So that would be your payout. Okay? That's why class in the ratio analysis as discussed kanina. So in terms of the types of financial information available and the ratios used by the various industries. Alright, so what this textbook has covered is just now a tip of the iceberg now compared with the database. Yes, okay? Yan. So the availability is not the problem. The real trick now is to be discriminating enough to perform relevant analysis and select the pertinent comparative analysis. Okay. So that's why class very important is your comparative analysis. Okay. Next one. So next ano tayo? Last slide or last topic is all about ano ba yung mga limitations ng ating FS analysis. Okay, so limitations of your FS horizontal, your vertical, and ratio analysis, no, are frequently used in making significant business decision, no. One should be aware of some limitations, no. Horizontal man yan, vertical man yan, or ratio analysis man yan. Okay? So, we should be aware, no. So, ano yung mga usual, no? Number one is based on the estimates, no. Ang sabi, ang ating ano daw ay based sa ating estimates lang, no. Ibig sabihin, estimates based on the numerous estimates. Okay? So, estimates are used, alright, so particularly in determining the allowance for doubtful accounts, your periodic depreciation, di ba? So, yan. Yung ating cost of warranties, okay? So, yung iba dyan class ay more on estimates. So, it is basically uh, we analyze it, no. So the extent of these estimates are inaccurate minsan, no, and also the financial ratios and the percentage will also be inaccurate. Okay, so that would be limitations. Number two is about our costs, no. Traditional FS are based on the historical costs, okay, and they are not adjusted for the price level, no. So comparison of the unadjusted, comparison of the unadjusted financial data. All right, I also part, no, of this parang inconsistency, no, inconsistency with our data. Okay, so some assets naman, no, uh, like property and equipment. All right, ano pa ba yung ating might be very old, no. So yan, so yan yung ating part, no. Kaya very important, no, na we need to consider also, no. So the costs are shown also in terms of our balance sheet. Okay. Right. Also, alternative method. Yan. So ano naman yung mga method natin, no. So in terms of the method, there would be some methods, no. Yung iba gumagamit ng FIFO, yung iba naman ay LIFO, pero bawal yung LIFO, di ba? Okay? So, ibig sabihin, we need also to adapt, no, particularly yung ating tinatawag na yun nga, because of the data, no, iba-iba yung ating ratios, no. Anyway, alternative also, no, ito rin yan, very important here, is about alternative methods, no. Ano naman to class? Okay? Ibig sabihin, uh, yung iba ay gumagamit ng ano, uh, calendar year, yung iba naman ay fiscal year, no? So iba-iba. So ibig sabihin, hindi pare-parehas, no? So with this, makaiba talaga yung data natin. Okay? So yan yung mga sample natin. Okay? Na ating mga limitations. Okay. So also, ito naman sa US, diversifications daw, especially in the US, right? So also limits daw, no? They also limits the usefulness of your FS analysis, no? So ano yung mga limit, no? Many firms are diverse, all right? And cannot be classified, no, by the industry itself. All right. So when companies have significant operations, all right, so particularly in the different lines of business, all right, so magkakaiba talaga sila, no? Particularly, no, with your business, no, many analysts, no, they will report based on segmental information, no. Is the most important data in the FS, because without it, comparisons are diversified companies, okay, and it is very difficult. So I believe that's my last slide, and hopefully you've learned, no, about the FS analysis. So again, thank you very much, and hope to see you soon. Bye bye.